So it's time for our next session. Stick around. We're here till 5. All the good stuff's happening in this room. This next one is entitled Powering Real-World Economies in Virtual Worlds. How Programmable Money Unlocks More Monetization and Activity in Games. And it's with your man, Ben Cousens of ZEBEDEE. Big hand for Ben, please. All right.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully this works. Yeah, cool. Just to briefly introduce myself, I'm Ben. I lead business development for ZEBEDEE. I've got a background in video games development originally. I moved from there into finance. I worked on M&A and capital raising for video game companies, ranging from SoftBank buying Supercell to Epic Games' fundraise in 2018. From there, I moved into venture capital, where I led video games investing for a fund called Lakestar, and I invested in ZEBEDEE and then wound up becoming so bullish on this business that I joined. So let's talk about ZEBEDEE. But before we get there, I want to talk to you about money in games. It's a 40-year relationship. It's not often talked about, but let's dive in and think about what the relationship between money and games really is. Because if you really look at it from the start, games have always involved money. You know, right back in the late 70s, early 80s, when you had coin-op machines, you inserted a quarter and you received entertainment. That was the value transfer that occurred at that point in time. And similarly, games themselves, this is what's really interesting, is they also put money in their games. They involved money as a concept very naturally right from the beginning. Not sure why. It must be something psychological in human behavior. But it ranges from Mario on the NES to MMOs like Elder Scrolls, where you buy houses with gold. There's obviously Warcraft with the same analogy. Grand Theft Auto has its, the fundamental objective is really to become a kingpin, which, by definition means the wealthiest person in the city. And then when mobile gaming came along, they really took that and put it on steroids. So you had multiple different sort of abstractions of money put into these applications, where there's soft in-game currencies, hard in-game currencies, fiat currencies, premium currencies. It all revolved around money. And yet money itself does not work in games. If you insert a quarter into a coin-op machine, you don't have a quarter's worth of value represented digitally in that game. Maybe put another way, if you win $400 for killing someone in Grand Theft Auto, you don't sit back in your bedroom and count $400 in your checking account. This link explicitly here is broken. And why is that? And I think the real missing link here, we took a quote from Bill Gurley. He's a venture capitalist with Benchmark. He's been focused on video games for a while, most notably, I think, Second Life. He said, the real issue here is that gaming is a world that thrives on credits and points. I think that's not controversial, the vast majority of which don't have any real value or are locked in a controlled ecosystem. Now imagine a credit or token that is not freely liquid, but might also appreciate in value. And it's that appreciate in value part that we sort of tweaked a bit, because speculation is in and of itself a game. But what if the token actually already had value? What if it already was useful? What if it was just money? What if it was dollars, yen, euros, etc.? So why hasn't this happened? And the truth is, it's because money's analog. Money's never been a digital thing. The payment systems that we use to interact with our world, the real world, were built in the 1950s, 1940s, and they haven't changed since. And a big piece about the fact that money is analog is that you can't put money in a computer. I know we've taken a meme here to try and make it clear, but you can't walk up to a laptop and insert $100 and have $100 just on your computer. It doesn't work that way. So money is a completely analog thing. Money is also, paradoxically, quite expensive. So if you're a games developer, and let's say you're based in the US, and you want to reward a user in another country for their questing or something in this example, it'll cost you more than $1 to send $1. To go through the wire transfer system, to go through international networks like SWIFT, and then to land in a user's account, that'll cost you a bunch of money. On top of that, we're in a world now where the banking system will say, do you have a license to do that? And who on earth are you paying? Is this person a terrorist? I mean, no, they're a gamer. Like, money is an expensive, regulated system. And that makes it a burden as well. You have to have money transmitter licenses. You need a compliance team. You have to maintain records for tax. And these laws change all the time. That was until money itself became digital. And I really want everyone in the room to step back from crypto hype for a moment. Like, what we're really talking about here is the fact that money is a digital thing now. Don't worry about other tokens for the moment or anything else. The key thing I want to draw your attention to on this slide is the OCC's decision in 2020 to allow banks to hold Bitcoin. That means that you and I, retail users, will soon have, and I think Wells Fargo and US Bank will be the first to unveil it, will have checking accounts denominated in Bitcoin. But more critically, businesses, i.e. games developers, can now actually handle and process Bitcoin through the banking system and not have their accounts frozen, not be challenged for provenance of funds. All of this is now getting integrated into the financial infrastructure of our world. Money is becoming digital. On top of that, its adoption in Latin America and on the African continent is absolutely rampant. You've probably seen that the Central African Republic has adopted Bitcoin, but even aside from that, the number of statements coming out of institutional organizations like the IMF around Bitcoin and around cryptocurrency are telling you that this is really happening. They're getting concerned. Money itself also became programmable as a result. This is a snippet from our API, but essentially it means that a developer can handle money and process money in a way that they would expect to. You don't have to go through weird systems of archaic, 1950s Fortran code. You can actually just write something in a language you're familiar with, and it's a push and pull request, and it's very easy to use. Last point on this, it has the fastest adoption curve in history. This has an install base, to use our language, right? There's 130 plus million people who hold or have handled Bitcoin or use it. And that's amidst a backdrop, remember the slides a couple of slides ago, of growing regulatory acceptance. So this is something that is now growing faster than the internet. It's got a user base in the hundreds of millions, and it's really, really spreading like wildfire. So what does that mean? That means that money can work in games now. And that's what we do. We make money work in games. We provide all of the compliant infrastructure that you folks need to build a game. We do KYC checks of users. We have money transmitter licenses. We monitor transactions for weird behavior. We do AML checks. All of that handled by us globally, internationally, etc. And this is why, in the past, for those of you who know sort of gaming history, this is why CSGO skins trading was shut down. This is why Diablo 3's auction house didn't really work. It wasn't just game mechanics. It was actual regulation. It was dealing with money in virtual environments, fixed today. We do it through a simple API. Think of it like Stripe. You can plug it in about a day. It takes about a week to fully integrate, but then you can have full-on value transfer flows in your game, and they can be bi-directional. So, as a natural consequence, any game can become play and earn. It's much easier to actually check it out and see what it looks like. So here's a quick video that runs through everything that we've built at ZEBEDEE.
I saw, oh, well, we got an active guard, so wow, we've got more than 20 power-ups, so that'll kind of mess everybody up. It literally makes it chaotic. We have like tornadoes and things, and the drivers hate it, but it only lasts for about 20 seconds. And we have lightning bolts. So what I'm trying to do here is just trying to kind of show how the audience can interact with the game through Bitcoin.
Cool. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's powered by Bitcoin. That's open source money. For those of you who need an explainer on what it is, government money is closed source. Bitcoin is open source, kind of like Linux. Open tends to win. We build upon the Lightning Network, which is a software update released to Bitcoin in 2017. It enables instant transactions, and it can scale to millions of transactions per second. For those of you concerned about the environment, this completely changes Bitcoin's ESG profile. It has near zero fees, it's programmable, and critically, it's secure and safe. Bitcoin's never been hacked, and it never will be. The same cannot be said of other chains. It's also widely accepted, and this is one of the reasons we chose to build on top of it. It's regulated, it's usable in every market, there is an exchange in every country. We're concerned about users getting back to their bank accounts. If they get money from a game, how quickly can they go spend it? The fact that this is a widely distributed, regulated thing, it's money, means that we can get people back to their bank accounts in seconds. And this enables entirely new experiences for everyone. Yes, players can play and earn. That is something that is, a growing trend, but also the audience can participate. You can send money into the game and you can trigger events. You can change the weather in a map. You can tip a player. You can help them buy a gun in Counter-Strike. All of this is possible in a way that was never possible before. And developers, critically, now have a new revenue stream. This is payment processing. So we take 1% on transactions that we process through our API, but we don't believe in rent seeking. So if you've built an economy and you've owned the IP, why don't you take a cut of that transaction activity as well? If two players meet in World of Warcraft and they trade items, maybe that Blizzard should get a cut of that. So this is something we enable. And we provide a full stack suite for developers to actually start using this. We've got an open REST API available for all platforms. We'll be self-serve by the end of the year. You get a developer dashboard as part of that, which includes analytics around transactions and activity within your games. And we've built a middleware to help stop cheats, bots, fraud, etc. We can do all of that as well. And for consumers, because crypto is, for as much as we might love it, it's not mainstream yet. Its user base is measured in the hundreds of millions, not the billions. We've built a wallet to help facilitate the experience. So it's optimized for gaming. It pairs with Discord. It pairs with Twitch. You can stream through it. And we created a system called gamer tags. Think of that like Xbox Live. And then you can pay users by username, and you can send Bitcoin to email addresses, which was also something our engineering team invented. And it works. So this is users in Brazil that we're particularly proud of. They've been playing Counter-Strike and other mobile games that are on our platform, and they've earned enough money to buy food, to pay their bills, and to buy swag as well, because swag's great. I mentioned it's a simple implementation, so I won't spend too much time on this. It is an API. You apply for access. We do a know your business check because we're a regulated payment provider. You connect it to your game, and most developers have something up and operational testing with cohorts in the thousands within a week or two. And it drives measurable impact. Like, why would you do this? Well, actually, what we're seeing is that games that have money flowing through them properly actually have massive increases in retention. We've seen doubling and tripling of retention through to day 45, massive improvements in ROAS, 30 to 40% uplift in ARPDAU. This really does actually drive more engagement, even if you're giving players very small rewards. And you can try some games. This is what I'm going to leave you with. If you scan these QR codes, all of these games are powered by us. You'll be able to start earning some Bitcoin, and you'll notice you don't even need the ZEBEDEE wallet to actually get some Bitcoin and get started. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Any questions for Ben? I've got a question. That's amazing. It all seems to look too good to be true. What do you think? What are the other payment guys? What are they doing wrong? What are they missing? And what makes your thing different?
I think there's 2 or 3 things. One is if you use fiat infrastructure, there's nothing wrong with it, but you can't send microtransactions. The cost of using archaic infrastructure is now quite prohibitively high. So I think what I was talking about there about if you're in the US and you want to pay someone in Europe, you can't send them $1. And I think that really, it seems simple, but it's actually a massive deal. Most games that involve money today, think of teams like Avia Games where you can earn real money. They have minimum withdrawal limits of $15, $20 or so, and that's because to make it economically viable, they have to have those thresholds. Those payment points, to get that kind of LTV on a user, That's really difficult. But with us, you can send 1,000th of a cent, and we can do it instantly. It's so fast, we can actually stream money. So if you walk into an area of a map in a game, you can start receiving money per second that you're there, or being charged per second that you're there. So if you're attending a concert in Fortnite, you might pay per second that you're in front of the stage until you leave. And all of this is only possible when you have programmable money. It's not possible to do that, from a Chase bank account to a Wells Fargo account.